Hey everybody, I am John Barker, and in this episode of Here to Record Show and Tell, we're taking a first look at the Hollyland Mars 400S Pro. These are these tiny little devices here for sending wireless video from one place to the other. Let's take a look. I just want to let you know, in full disclosure, Hollyland has sent these over to the channel to take a look at, hang on to after the videos are done, but they're not going to watch any of this content before it's posted or anything like that. Now usually around this point in the video I say who this is made for, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory on this one. If you want to send wireless video from one place to the other, then this is definitely the kind of kit you want to take a look at. Let's take a look around the transmitter first. You'll see in the bottom here it has a nice little red adapter, so you can tell it apart from the other one, the receiver. It has a blue little ring on it. But other than that, we have a screen on the front for some display information, and a few buttons for menu control. On the top you have your two detachable antennas, and they go up there and fit quite nicely in place. Then on the side we have the SDI input, so you can send in your camera source or something like that. But you also have the HDMI input, which you can use instead, which is really nice. I have a USB for power, and I have DC power as well down here. And then we have a little on-off switch right there. And finally there's a place for a battery. I have one of these Ep.75s, and they fit nicely just in the back of the device. So you can power it from battery or from DC or from the USB as well if you want. Let's take a look at the other side of the chain here. We have the receiver. Like I said, at the bottom we have that blue little closer, and then same again, you have a little screen for readout of information and things, and then a few buttons for menu control. On the side, something very similar, but in this case SDI output, and then on the back, similar again, HDMI output to power, and then a power button as well, and then the same batteries fit nicely on there. For this video I have three things I really want to take a look at. One is the latency, so how long does it take to get video from here to here. Number two is the battery life, and it's something I've been testing a little bit to see how long I can run on a charge. And number three is what kind of other things does this device do, things like the conversion from HDMI on one end to SDI on the other. So let's take a look at all three of those. Let's get started with latency then. So a quick way to do that is to get the two devices powered up and then connect a source to one and connect the output to the other. And I'm just going to record the multi-view and take a look at the difference. So I actually have my my laptop. It's been split over HDMI, and one of the HDMIs is this one right here, which is coming right into the transmitter on the table. And if I just plug that into the HDMI input on that, power it up with a battery, and then it'll boot up. Then on the other side of the chain, I have the receiver, of course, and HDMI output from the receiver is going directly into the ATEM right here on the table. And I'll just plug that in here and get that powered up as well. So here's a look at the ATEM multi-view, and you can see a few sources along the bottom there. I have the main camera you're looking at right now, then the overhead camera next to that, and then we have two that look very similar to each other, but they're not quite the same. If I just bring number 4 onto program, this is a direct feed from my laptop going straight into the ATEM as you would expect it to. And then number 3 is actually a split going from the laptop over a HDMI splitter, the same splitter as the other HDMI source, and then it's coming into the device itself, wirelessly transmitting, and then being received on the other end, going right back into the same ATEM. So if we take a look, and I cut back and forth a little bit, you can see, first of all, you can see some color changes, which is quite interesting to see. It's the same HDMI splitter that's letting you see both of these signals, but there is a difference. Right now we have the straight sort of, well, you could say the straight from the laptop feed going in there in camera 4, and it's a whole lot darker than the other source, which is camera 3 there. That is actually these devices on the screen. I'm gonna have to pause this later and see where the latency is at, but I can tell from cutting back and forth that it's very fractional indeed, and I think for the kind of use case that I would use this for, it's more than usable for some cutaway shots, maybe walking around with something like a DH5 or something like that. But maybe if what you're doing needs to be perfect, then of course you might not go for wireless anyway. But for my case, this would be absolutely perfect. I've used it on a live stream before, and I've been very happy with how things worked. And one other test of latency, I've kind of just plugged my camera into the same setup. So the camera's coming into a splitter. One of those is going directly into the ATEM, and the other one goes into the transmitter, wirelessly receiver, and into that same ATEM. And now you can see in the multi-view here the difference between the two. And if I clap, you can roughly see the delay between one and the other. The next thing I said I wanted to test was the battery life. And like I said, I had these big batteries on there. And, you know, so far it's been inconclusive, actually. Because I ended up wanting to do a test before I shot this video. And I put one of these batteries on there. And it's been running for a couple of hours without any issues. So it never drained enough for me to find the final answer yet on how long the battery lasts. But a couple of hours of a production without a break and without switching batteries, for me, would be more than perfect. So I was pretty happy with that test so far. I'll report back later if I have some better results, but a couple of hours on a single battery and then maybe a break and change batteries to the other one, for me, that's perfectly fine. So I'm happy with that. And the final thing I wanted to test for this initial video was any other cool features it had. And in my case, I think a nice one is the SDI to HDMI conversion. So in this case, I have SDI coming out of the Ninja 5, and it's just playing back a clip that I had in a previous video. It's going into the transmitter here, and then it's sending that wirelessly, obviously, to the receiver, which is connected actually by HDMI to this ATEM that I'm shooting this whole video from. And if I just cut to that shot, it's a bit of a weird cut there, but you can see here as that clip plays, and I go to maybe the next clip on the device and scrub through that, you can see that this whole conversion is happening wirelessly, of course, but it's also going from SDI on one end to HDMI on the other, which is really nice. It's a tiny little feature like that, but I think it's one of those things that it could easily have not been the case and only one way worked. So that's a nice feature to have. For the pros of the device, one is definitely how well they're built and put together. I mean, they feel rock solid. They feel like they're not going to fall apart on you, and they're quite small, I think, relatively speaking to some of the cameras that I'll be using them with. So I'm really happy with that. Another pro is that SDI to HDMI conversion that can happen over the air, which is really nice. And finally is all the power options on the back, running via battery like this, via USB, or via the DC. Really nice to have all of those options built into one device. Thinking about the cons, one of them is the on-off switch at the back, and if I just show you that, you'll see that it's like a little clicky recessed button whenever it's on, and then when you unclick it, it does poke out, which makes sense, but I think that this is one of those things that could easily be pressed by accident when you're out on a gig, so something that you had to hold and turn off would be a little more safe, I think. Another con of the devices is the no signal screen. I have it still up here because I don't have a signal connected. This is what it looks like. Hollyland linking, a big logo, and the copyright. Not exactly what you want if you lose connection during a production. Ideally, you would set that to completely black or freeze the last frame or something like that. But in this case, if that logo pops up whenever you lose connection during a production, then it is a bit of a shame to try and hide it. As far as I could tell, you couldn't change that. Maybe you can and I missed it, but that would be something I'd really like to be able to change in an update. And my final con, or more of a warning if anything, it's not really a con, but it's just the whole relying on wireless in general for production is always very nerve-wracking, I find. Even using wireless microphones is something that makes me nervous. So using wireless video is something you want to be really sure about. Devices like this that feel really well built and that you can test and make sure they're good, then that's great. Certainly if you start to look into less expensive versions, I start to get very nervous, definitely, about using them during productions. And speaking of expensive, these devices retail around £25, maybe like $650 or so. So they're not inexpensive by any stretch, but also if you look at some of the alternatives out there, you can spend a lot of money on wireless video. And in many cases you'll get what you pay for, and in many cases you'll pay a lot for what you get. So it's kind of up to you to weigh the options and decide. I've been really happy with them so far. I've just done a lot of testing as far as in the office and very controlled environments, and distances like this is not exactly the best test for them. But I've been happy so far, hoping to do more tests in the future and actually use them in a lot of different ways. Maybe like feeding a monitor, so if that went out, I wouldn't mind. And then I can upgrade to maybe using it for camera feeds and stuff like that. It's certainly not something you want to spend money on just to try it out maybe, but if you can, and if you want to give it a test, then it would be the best way to see if it's the right thing for you and if it will work well for your setup. If you want to see more videos on these devices, then do let me know in the comments, and there's anything in particular you want me to test. I really want to test the latency over a longer distance, but I'm just trying to get myself to a place where I can show that long distance. They're rated for up to 120 meters, I believe, so I really want to get somewhere with a plenty of distance and test that out in the future. But if there's anything you can think of you want to see, let me know down below, and until then, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.